You are listening to Fast Track Podcast, the place to be to fast track your personal finance or fast track your business or both through a series of conversations with those who have learned it, done it, and made it. Thomas was born and raised in Zurich, Switzerland. After having completed 4 years of apprenticeship and worked 2 years as a full-time employee at UBS, he quit his job and became a full-time entrepreneur in 2018. In 2 years' time, he has dedicated fully to growing his business and his personal wealth. At the age of only 24, he is now running an e-commerce store for trading cards and the largest personal finance YouTube channel in Switzerland. In this episode, let's hear about what's his secret in growing his business so fast and his money philosophy. Hello, Thomas. Welcome to the Fast Track Podcast.
Thank you very much.
And today we are going to talk about personal finance, money, and also, of course, your personal journey. And I know that you did work at UBS. And like from age 16 to 22, what did you do there?
So, thank you very much for inviting me here. My name is Thomas Brandon Kovac. So, I worked at UBS from 16 to 20. I did the apprenticeship at first. So it's 4 years here in Switzerland. And afterwards, I still worked there almost 3 years till I was 22. And I worked there as database administrator. So I worked a lot with SAP products and had a lot to do with internal customers. So I was like not speaking with different customers, but it was like internal customers. I helped getting databases up for applications and also supported them. And yeah, that's how I started my career at first. But during or especially after the apprenticeship, I noticed it's not so much my thing, and I always had other projects, ideas, and that's why I stopped working there in 2018 and followed like my own projects, like personal finance blog, the personal YouTube channel, Bar Coyote, it's called, and it's in German, and also like my other project, which is online e-commerce store for Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to ask you about that later. And you talk about personal finance, you are working in the IT sector, like IT department in UBS, but how come you started to venture into this personal finance topic?
So back then it started somehow that I read a lot of blogs, especially in German, right? Because like I'm from the Swiss German part, so I speak Swiss German and German. And I read a lot of blogs which go into the topic dividends, stock investing, and also long-term investing with index funds. And I started to like that quite a lot to like build long-term a passive income. So not like you do something and after a few months you get rich quick, right? But it's like something over decades where you build your wealth. And there I stumbled upon like the financial independence and also then financial independence, retire early, the FIRE community, which I must say it started like that, but nowadays I'm not so much into FIRE anymore because the main reason is simply in FIRE you set a certain amount of money and after that you can do what you like. But I do believe you don't need a certain amount of money to do what you like. Yeah.
So what do you believe in?
I actually do believe that you can like you if you like something and you have passion for something, you can do this for a living if you go or if you're smart about it. I don't like, especially nowadays with the whole internet, with podcasts, YouTube, with everything, with like I mean, if you're a diligent person, you can launch a online e-commerce store within a few days or weeks, right? It's just like you need to work on it. You need to have the discipline to make it long term and like not stop it after 3 or 5 or 6 months, right?
Yeah, talking about the e-commerce. So when you were 16 years old, you started your card trading e-commerce business. What is it about? Why did you start this?
So with trading cards, it was always like my kind of passion and my hobby. So I started it when when I was like 4 or something, so 20 years ago, basically, because now I'm 24. And for me, it was always a hobby. I collected the cards, I played with the cards, but I really early noticed that you can also earn money with the cards because people are willing to pay certain prices for certain cards or certain like trading card game products. And back then, when I was a teenager, I already started like selling on tournaments. There was always like weekly tournaments on weekends. Started selling there, earning some pocket money for myself back then. But then when I started the apprenticeship, I tried to do more things online. So then I went through Ricardo here in Switzerland. It's something similar like eBay. And that's where it actually started on Ricardo, this e-commerce journey. And nowadays it's a real online store with its own web address and where we sell Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards, other trading cards, single cards, new products, booster packs, everything. So it started out of a hobby basically. And yeah, now I'm surrounded basically daily with trading cards.
Ah, interesting. So I think as a young Thomas would never thought about you will start a business with something that is your hobby.
Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of strange to think about it like that because I was always thinking, or like for me, like the concept of work was something I really didn't understand till I got out of like school, right? And then started my apprenticeship. And even there, it was hard for me to understand because like the first year in the apprenticeship in IT, you usually just do learning. You have like modular lessons and you don't actually work that much. So the concept of work, what like I was introduced with it when I was like 17 or so, like real work, and I somehow like in the apprenticeship it was fine, but during like the real job, I started didn't liking it, and there were a lot of issues I had with it, with the work itself. I didn't like it. I mean, the people were really nice and everything, but it was like the stuff I did on a daily basis, the daily business, which I didn't like, and it wasn't a match. Nowadays, it's like I can just do what I want with my hobbies, and I earn money from my hobbies. So it doesn't actually feel like work, even if I do it professionally and earn money with it, right? So it's kind of strange just living life and doing what you like and getting paid for it.
That is
Yeah,
like a dream for many people.
yeah, I think so, but there are not only the good sides, there are also downsides, I think, because sometimes you don't want to do like for example, if you play soccer for just for fun, right? You can just say, okay, I don't want to play next week soccer. But if you're like a pro and you're playing it for a living, you still need to go to training, even if you don't want to at the moment. And it's kind of this thing, right? So there is some moments where you don't want to do actually anything, but you still have to because now it's your job and not only your hobby, right? So this is, I think, the trade-off, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine
Yeah,
with it.
yeah. And you mentioned that you have like also social media presence and you have
Mhm.
so many followers, like the biggest one in Switzerland, the in the
Um,
personal finance.
in the personal finance community, especially as personal brand, not like a platform,
Mm,
right? Where I'm just writing about my journey, about my personal finance, where I invest, what I do believe is an interesting investment. As far as I know, in the German part of Switzerland, I'm the biggest at the moment, especially on YouTube with almost like more than 15,000 subscribers, which is in Switzerland actually, especially for this kind of niche personal finance, quite huge, right?
yeah,
So I don't believe you will find any Swiss YouTube channel in this niche where has like the same amount or more subscribers or viewers. And even on Instagram and on my blog, as far as I know, I'm not the only one, but I'm probably at the moment the largest.
and when did you started it?
2016, actually, I started with the blog on the 1st of September. It was just like, I think it was like a month after because I was 2 weeks in military, because military service here in Switzerland is like, you have to go basically. But I left after 2 weeks because it wasn't a fit. So I had some health issues, and then I left basically. And after this, like after I left the military service, for me it was like the best day because I knew now what is freedom. So basically, not going to the military for me at least. And then after that, I don't know why, but I just started like this blog. I wanted to document the journey I'm going on, the financial journey, like how I invest and what mistake I will do. And then I wanted to write it down on a blog. Soon after that, like a half a year or so after the blog, I started the YouTube channel and then all the other social media stuff. And then when I 2017, when I moved out from my parents' home after my apprenticeship. So half a year after apprenticeship, I moved out. I really started to take like this hobby or those project more serious. And then I put more time and effort into the blog, the YouTube channel, and also onto the e-commerce store, which was or is still growing till today.
And when you said you quit your apprenticeship, or you quit it,
No,
was
no,
a
the
job?
apprenticeship I did.
Yeah.
The apprenticeship is 4 years. I
Hmm.
finished that like with pretty good grade, but like nowadays it doesn't matter anymore. But then I worked 2.5 years at UBS like as a full-time employee and earned normal money. So my salary was back then 72,000 per year. And yeah, and after 2.5 years, then I quit basically because I wanted to pursue my own projects and be self-employed, be my own boss, and do or work on my projects.
And at that moment, how did you get the courage to quit your job but not knowing what's coming to you, or you already have something planned out? You have certain kind of confidence what you can achieve?
So basically, I mean, I had like a nest egg saved up, right? I always had like a good say, like I already invested into the stock market. I saved already money. I budgeted everything. So when I resigned, I basically had over 100,000 Swiss francs in the bank, like basically in investments. Some of it was cash, some of it was in other investments. And I already had like proof of concept of my projects, right? So the e-commerce business, which started on Ricardo, already made revenue, which meant also profits already, and also the blog and YouTube channel through AdSense. I already earned money through this also, and it was then only a thing like, okay, when I resign, then I have like almost 50 hours more per week because like with also traveling back home and to the office and everything, I saved like 50 hours per week, which is 200 hours per month. And I mean, back then I earned maybe like few hundred francs per month additionally in profits, right? And my calculation was, okay, if I have 200 hours per month more to put into my projects, it should work out, right? I mean, you never know, but it should work out. And that's why I then back then decided, okay, I have to do this now because when not now, when then? And then I gave myself like a 3 year like deadline. So basically till I'm 25. So I'm not 25 yet. So it's 2 years ago when I did this decision. And I assume like from like in retrospective was one of my best decisions in my life financially, other aspects like health wise or even like mental health especially or like almost every aspect it changed like to the better because now I can do what I like. And the thing is I even earn more than I did before, which is also ridiculous. And so for me it was a win-win, but I don't think like it will work for everyone out that quickly and that good like it worked out for me.
And what do you think are the factors help you to work it out faster than you expected? What did you do? You think
I
it?
mean, there's a lot of stuff. So, but there's obviously timing, which needs to be right. There is probably portion of luck and all those things which you don't have like control over it. But I mean, there are things you have control over it, which is like working 80 hours to 100 hours, especially in the beginning. I, I, I worked like for a few months, 100 hours per week, which is ridiculous. But I do believe it was needed. Nowadays, I don't do that anymore. Nowadays, like the usual work week is like 60, maybe 70 hours at max. I don't even want to do 80 hours. It's too much, even if it's your hobby and you like it. And I do believe the sweet spot is probably for me between 50 to 60 hours, which I'd like to be, which I'm still a bit over this sweet spot. So I need to go a bit back down, work a bit less probably. And this is probably one of the because a lot of people, I do believe, don't want to work that much, and they want to, like, for example, during the pandemic, right? Everyone needed to be staying at home during 2 months. Like, I told myself, okay, now I don't go out, I don't meet with friends, I don't do anything basically, like outside of my home. So what I did back then, I used this time to like push my business like totally ahead. So I basically worked during the pandemic more than 3.5 months, I think, 70 to 80 hours per week, made daily streams, daily YouTube videos, daily content, and also worked diligently on the online store, made purchases for the store, placed Facebook ads for the store, for the e-commerce store and everything. And I mean, I think those phases, every business or like every person that wants to be self-employed, it needs, but not like forever 80. Like, it's just maybe once a year, a month where you really double down, and then or maybe once every twice year, a few months where you really double down, and then you can reap the fruits already after a few months or after a year. And I do believe this is one of the big portions that is needed. And you need to basically work also like efficiently. So what I notice a lot is that, for example, working 8 hours doesn't mean anything. The variable is how efficient you are, or how efficient you are in these 8 hours. How many or how much work can you get done? So basically, there is someone that, let's say, he works 8 hours and he produces one X, and there's another person working the same 8 hours producing 3X, and someone else 5X. So basically, the person with 5X does something in 8 hours where the first person needs 40 hours, right? So, and 40 hours is a normal work week here in Switzerland, and 8 hours is one normal work day. And that's like also the thing that needs to be put into consideration. So basically, if I work 80 hours, if I want to do that, and I'm double the efficiency than someone else, then I'm basically doing something in 1 week what the other person would do in a whole month, right?
Yeah.
And that's the approach I always look into, those kind of things, which I didn't do when I was employed because I didn't have the understanding of this kind of view.
Yeah, exactly. And now, did you assign certain tasks to other people, or how did you achieve high productivity?
So I mean, most of the high productivity I achieve by myself. So basically, I batch my work. For example, just a simple example. Most of the people, if they would approach like creating a video, they make video one by one by one. So they capture like all the video they need. Then they cut the video. Then they create a thumbnail. Then they maybe do something else with for the video, and then they go to the next video. So for example, but every time you switch like the task from like recording a video to cutting or editing the video, you lose the focus, right? You have like 15 minutes till you're in again and you're efficient again. What I do is I record maybe 3 or 4 videos at once, then I edit all 3 or 4 videos, and then I do all the thumbnails like batch wise. Sometimes I even just record videos for 2 days, and then I edit like 8 videos at once, right? And then you're more efficient because you always save like per video you would have like 3 to 4 times where you need to switch the task, and then you lose focus. And if you do 8 videos, you lose like I don't know, more than 20 times your focus. And with this kind of approach, you basically lose maybe 4 times the focus, right? Because you're basically then 3, 4, 5, 6 hours just editing the videos, and then 3, 4, 5, 6 hours just recording videos, right?
Yeah.
And you're still in the flow. And that's how I approach the efficiency. And then after that, I started to, I don't outsource much, but I do outsource certain things like accounting, my podcast editing, I do outsource, or even stuff like tax or SEO, I sometimes do outsource. So there are things I outsource, but not much, because I'm already that efficient actually. And I also want to still keep my business at the moment really lean, because you don't know what's going to happen in the next few months or years during like the whole situation with the with the corona or with COVID, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm pretty impressed by your typical working week because that is much more than having like a normal job, right?
Yeah, and this is just like the personal finance and blog, right? So we didn't start about like the online shop, so we didn't even do that now. So there I also have other stuff to do, which is mainly like especially searching for products to buy, actually negotiate prices and buy in larger quantity. Like for example, this year we bought in on average between 20 to 30,000 Swiss francs products per month. So every month we bought for between 20 to 30K in products. But those products need to be found, and you need to have suppliers. And sometimes, especially if you want to have older products or special products which are not produced anymore because they are 10 years old, 15 or 20 years old, like vintage cards, it's not that easy. You cannot go to wholesale and say, hey, I want to buy Pokemon base set booster first edition booster boxes. This won't work. You need to then go to like other sites or like connections which you build up through the years and try to get a deal there and then buy it from them. Make sure it's a real product and not like a counterfeit product and everything. So those kind of things also come into a work week. What I usually do is um, either I do a mix or I split like the whole week. Now this week I just work on my online e-commerce store, and the next week I just only work on the personal finance business. And yeah, that's how I actually do it. So that's what I mean. Like for me, like actually a normal working week is 60 to 70 hours at the moment. But I like what I do, so I
Mhm. Yeah.
don't think it's a bad thing. But I still would like to go to 50 to 60. I think this is the sweet spot.
Yeah. And if you think about it, you are actually doing multiple jobs and then still you are working less than like a 40-hour week plus two jobs or three jobs. You do like 60, 70 full. Basically 3 to 5 times more efficient.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because if you start to get more efficient, um, usually most of the people then ask you like, how can you earn that much money, right? For example, if you earn a lot of money. But the thing is, it's all about the efficiency, like how much you can get done by yourself in a certain amount of time. And you can even leverage that if you outsource stuff, right? So at the moment you could say, okay, I'm basically at my almost like, let's say my efficiency level is 90% already, right? I cannot get more efficient because like you're not a robot, right? Then the next thing would be, because you're not perfect, you cannot reach 100%, you need to outsource stuff. But there is then at some point a question, do you even want to be more efficient? Do you want to earn? Because in the end, if you're more efficient, what happens? You earn more money. But the question is then, do you want to earn more money? Because then you start to do different tasks and then you're not into the operative business anymore. And then you're just like, you're having all the people under you and you basically just need to coordinate and you are not in the real business anymore. So do you actually want that? And for me, I decided at the moment I don't really want that. That's why I keep a lot of stuff which I do still at me because I like doing it. Um, but which is then also the bottleneck in the end, right? For my efficiency, because I'm just a human being.
Yeah, yeah. But sometime down the road, maybe you do something, differently with your business, right? You're still you still have so much time. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I believe so, but like I do believe I'm still too young and I want to still do a lot of operative stuff. And like for me, if like let's like just for if we take some numbers, even like I'd rather still do what I do at the moment, right? Still do the same process, the same daily work, daily business I do, then I would change a lot and earn like 100,000 per month more. Not worth it for me. Like, or even 200. It's just not worth, because I just like what I do, and then I earn so much enough that it's fine, and I can finance like all my businesses because there's enough cash flow and everything. I mean, it would be nice to have more income, and hopefully it grows over time. But I don't really need to like grow that fast, because if I grow that fast, then I start or need to start to change my process, and I would be starting to delegate more, which at the moment I don't really want.
mhm.
I mean, in the future, maybe in a few years, I want to start delegate more because I got more experience. But at the moment, I want to be active in the daily business instead of delegating a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So you find a balance between what you enjoy doing and what is the like revenue for you right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's like basically for the moment a sweet spot I reached, and I only want to earn more if it's like fitting with my process I'm already doing, or not changing too much of my process. Obviously, I do know during the years, if you get more experience, I probably will start to delegate more, but I do believe in the next 5 years, I can still do it in 5 years or in 4. It doesn't matter if I do it now or in 3 or 4 or 5 years. And I do believe um, uh, the patience is, or especially in this topic, is kind of good, because then I can do what I like, right?
Mm-hmm. And I want to touch on the personal finance side.
Mhm.
What is your personal financial goal? Do you have one?
I mean, I do have a lot of goals, and I mean, it depends, right? Like for example, back then when I was still employed, like my first financial goal was like reaching by 1 million Swiss francs in net worth. So with all the investment, like net worth, right? And if I reach that, then I'm basically financially independent, because of like the 4% rule, which is known. So basically, if you have 1 million fully invested, diversified, you can take out 4% per year forever, right? Which is 40,000. I would then be financially independent. Then I can do what I'd like, right? But this changed after I started working on my project, because I noticed I can already do what I like with less than 1 million, and it still works out. And paradoxically, which is probably maybe also portion of luck, I'm really near to 1 million. I'm currently at almost 750,000 already Swiss francs in net worth. So basically, quarter million is missing. So I managed to, in the past 2 years, basically build my net worth from 140,000 to almost
Well,
750,000,
in
which
two
is,
years.
yes, in 2 years, which is not normally possible if you're normally employed, right?
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
need to be self-employed either, or um, basically be an entrepreneur, and that, so that your working hours are not your leverage. So basically, I have basically no instance where I get paid per hour. Um, like exceptions. For example, if a company wants to book me for speaking, then I'm basically trading hours for money, right? Because like they book me for 1 hour webinar or a speaking or whatever, and then I charge them a certain amount, right? But usually I don't do this kind of relationship, so I never want to get paid per hour. So I mean, when you start doing that and it works quite out well, you can then earn basically almost an unlimited amount with like this kind of concept, especially in social media. Like the how you call it, the multiplier is then not your working hours. It's basically how many people you reach in your certain demographic, right? So, for example, if you reach 1,000 people, and then after 5 years you reach 1 million people, the probability that you earn 1,000 times amount than before is really high, which is ridiculous. So, for example, if you earned when you reach 1,000 people and you earn per month, let's say $50, right? And now you reach 1 million people, then you would probably earn 50,000 or even more, right? In the same time period, because
Yeah.
you reach
Same input,
thousand
but
times people more.
yeah.
Yes. And so the scale effect, or like the multiplier, is the audience or the reach you have, and not your working hour, which in the normal employment, it's your working hour, because you can do overtime, you can pay it out, or you can take time off. But for me, this is not like a good way to like leverage your time, right? Because you're basically bottlenecked already. Yeah, you'd rather have a bigger bottleneck. Like example for me, the biggest bottleneck is only, I think, 200 million people on the planet can understand me in German. That's my bottleneck, right?
Yes.
But this bottleneck, I will never reach that. I will never ever reach that, because no, like those 200 million peoples, most of it, they don't like finances. They are not interested in it, right? But still, this is like the biggest bottleneck I could get. If I would do it in English, it would be even bigger. I don't know how many billion people do speak English, but a lot more than German, right? But that's the thing.
Well, it's interesting. You're very strategic about how you run your business, how you use your own time. And did you learn it from someone? Did you get a mentor? Did you read it somewhere, or where did you get all this like
Um,
thought process
so
from?
so I was always trying to be efficient with a lot of things, especially it came through gaming. Like I still play a lot of World of Warcraft, and I started 13 years ago with World of Warcraft, and also other browser games and everything. And always noticed what I would do is play like the how you call it, the in-game currency, right? So for World of Warcraft is gold. There was a browser game Neopets, which was Neopoints, or Hobo, which it was coins. And I always wanted to basically get in the game rich to buy like the stuff I'd like in the game, right? Or at least buy the mounts in World of Warcraft, which I liked. And I always tried to do it efficient, and I searched a way like how many gold per hour can I get when I do X, Y? How many gold per hour can I do when I do X, Y? And mostly, and you always come to one point in every game, usually it's not actually, and it's kind of funny, it's not actually playing the game to earn money or gold. It's basically to be how you call a merchant. You buy stuff low, you sell it high. You buy stuff low, you sell it high. You buy stuff low, you sell it high, right? And basically, and that's the kind of interesting thing which a lot of people don't understand is you can get attention, which is what I'm buying for free on social media. You get it for free. You basically put in time, okay, you trade in your time, but you get it for free, no monetary value. And you sell it for a certain price to a certain company if you do a sponsorship or whatever, or if you work with companies together. So you basically buy low and sell high. And since you're basically buying at zero cost, usually, or at a low cost, but the attention is much more worth, you can really leverage that, right?
Yeah, and
That's the same
also
principle.
yeah, and also with social media, there's a ripple effect. Like what I mean
So
is,
you mean like if you get traction, it grows even bigger and bigger, or what do you mean?
yeah, yes, maybe not directly, maybe sometime later when you put something else on top of it, but the person has heard about it or heard about you
Oh yes,
before.
yes.
Yeah.
So the more you do and the longer you do it and the more consistent you do it, like at some point it's going by itself, right? So in the
Mm.
beginning, it's really hard to get like the first subscribers, the first followers, and first people to like your stuff or even comment your stuff. And at some point, it's quite easy, or it grows basically by itself if you're just doing content that is fitting the audience you want to reach. And for me, it's always I want to put out content which I like. So it's stuff about trading cards, stuff about personal finance, stock investing, maybe sometimes funny stuff which has nothing to do with anything like that, just personal stuff. And that's what I do, and it works out. I mean, like if you compare like the growth with like other lifestyle YouTubers or bloggers or whatever, it's obviously not that high of a growth. But the thing is, because the audience in personal finance is really quite like a really niche, but um, it's a niche where you can say like, for example, on a lifestyle Instagram, a lot of people that are following them are a certain demographic, right? Certain age, maybe they're even underage, especially in gaming, right? So they have not a lot of financial potential, or it will be in the future, right? So for the advertisers, like this kind of reach is a lower quality, you could say, right? Because in the end, what an advertiser wants, they want to make at some point some profit or gain some traction, right? And but especially in the finance niche, you have a older audience. You have an audience which is full in their career. They are working full time, working on their own businesses and whatnot, and they have a discretional income. They want to invest that long term. And for example, let's say buy stocks from Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, or whatever, right? They want to do long term investments. And then for me, example, I work with like the services I also used by myself. So for example, we have here in Switzerland the free A pillar, right? For also for investing, you can put their money every year. And I work there with Zürcher Kantonalbank, which is ZKB, right? It's a good fit. I use their product, frankly. And also I can, because I use it, I'm really happy with it. I can recommend it to the people. Hey, look look into it. I think it's a good thing, and then I do a review. I show it to them how it works and what are the benefits, what is not so good, and that's how I work the stuff out, and it works really well actually, because you make a good fit, because the customer is also happy because they were on the search for this kind of thing to build up long term their wealth for their retirement, right? Especially the 3A pillar here in Switzerland, and that's a good thing, right? And especially because I reach also younger people in my age, 20, 24, 25, it's also good for like the other part, for example, the ZKB, because they want also young people to long-term invest, right? Because it's for both sides
Yeah.
beneficial.
And who are your audiences? You mentioned the younger ones and professional ones. Is how do you describe? Yeah.
Mostly between, so 95% is are men, and 5% are women. So it's usually like that in the personal finance, especially if a guy is talking on video. And most of them are, I think, between 24 and 39. So most of them are basically in their career, in their best time ever, right? And I have also people that are older, right? So 2/3 of it are between 24 and 39, and the rest is mostly like between 49 and 46. So I also have the older audience, but most of them are basically my age or a bit older, and just like are in the best time of their life, basically, right?
Yeah. And also your YouTube channel is called Thomas Spa Coyote. So
Yeah, Spark it.
what is your money philosophy?
So Spark Coyote means like savings coyote, right? It started like that because saving is a big part, I do believe, because if you earn 100,000 per month and if you spend 110,000 per month, you don't save anything, right? But you earn a lot. So earning a lot doesn't help, because you also need to save money. But save money and earning not a lot also doesn't help, because then you can only save a certain amount, because you cannot live for free. At least not that I know usually, right? So I do like to save, especially if I don't need to make compromise and save on something which I really like, which I don't do. Um, but what like my perspective is, like, you should save, or you should start saving hardcore, like really the extreme, because then you know what you really need, and then you get those things back what you need, right? Because you noticed, okay, hey, I needed this in my life, but I don't want to save on that, right? And then after that, you know what is your like perfect lifestyle for the moment. This could take 2 or 3 months, and then after that, instead of focusing on only saving, because now you know what you need to live and how you like to live, right? Because you optimized it and you went to the extreme to know what you're missing in life when you're saving too much, then you can start on focusing on, if you want increase your income through, if you're employed, you can do like whatever trainings. There's a lot of things you can do. You can go study further in your job. You can do bachelor, master, whatever, right? And then you're starting to gaining more income, but staying with your lifestyle which you like, right? And it's important to find out which lifestyle you like, and then also know that in the future maybe you have kids, then your lifestyle may increase because you need a bigger apartment or whatever, or you need now a car because you have 3 kids and it's a hustle to go anywhere with 3 kids in this age. So you need to keep this in mind, and when you have a lifestyle inflation, keep it slow, right? So for example, if you get, let's say you earn 50,000 per month and then you get a pay raise, now you're earning 55,000 per year. So 5,000 increase per year. Then you don't take like the 5,000 increase as lifestyle increase. So maybe you take half of it. So half of it you save, 2,500, and the other half you can take to increase your lifestyle, which is about 200 francs per month, right? Something like that. I would approach that. You always also keep growing your savings rate, but you don't need to save everything. You can always keep a bit to increase your lifestyle if you want, but you
Yeah.
always have to save a bit more when you get a pay raise, for example, or earn basically more.
And did you go through the process of letting go everything, just keep the essentials and realize what is
Yes,
important
I
for
did
you?
that. I did that especially. I mean, I did it multiple times, but last year in February 2019, during like it's the shortest months, but I did like a crazy thing where I then only lived for 1,300 francs here in Switzerland, which is ridiculous. And there I even noticed, okay, there's a lot of stuff I'm actually missing, like for food or other things. And this is what when I really noticed, okay, like you can save as much as you like, but you should still keep your lifestyle which you like. And for me, it's roundabout if you don't take vacation into consideration, so all the cost except a vacation and taxes, obviously, is for me about 2,000 francs privately here in Switzerland at the moment. I don't have any kids or so, but 2,000 francs. Everything less than that is for me like it's not worth it because there's then stuff I'd like or something I'd like to eat and I don't want to save on that, right? So I think those extremes help people to find out what they really want and what they want, what they really want to spend their money on, right?
Yeah.
Because then they notice, okay, I'm missing that, but the other thing I'm not missing, and it's costing 50 francs per month, but I'm not missing it, so I don't need to get it back into my life, right?
Yeah, and people can be more conscious about what they spend money on. Maybe they spend on something not conscious about if it's needed or
Mm-hmm.
not. Yeah, I like this
Yeah.
exercise.
Yeah.
I wish I could have learned this like years ago.
Yeah. I mean, it helps quite a lot. If you do that, it takes maybe a month or two because you need to really know, like you need to go really hardcore on it. And if people are saying, yeah, let's go to this dinner, and then you go, no, 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 I don't go there. I need to save this month, right? And then if you do that and you notice what you're missing, then you know, oh, maybe going for dinner once a week or whatever, this is something I really enjoy and I want to do, and then you do that. But maybe you have a gym membership and you go once per month there and then you are not having it anymore, and then yeah, I don't miss that. I rather invest those 100 francs per month into one or two dinners per month, right? So
Yeah.
those are the kind of things I would certainly do and recommend to everyone to try that out, to go to these extremes, to know what you actually want in life.
Hmm. And personally, what is the one thing that you missed most when you are in this month?
Basically it was food. It was food because like I paired it with a challenge where I wanted to eat as one person only for 100 francs for the whole month, which it worked out.
Like how?
Uh,
How did you manage that?
so you basically just eat like spaghetti for like, like spaghetti, like just like the really simple stuff. You don't eat anything special and only certain vegetables when they are like put down 50% in Coop or Migros, right? So it's kind of hardcore. And there I noticed, okay, food is something. Since then, actually, I don't really look onto the price of food anymore, unless it's really unreasonable, high priced, obviously. But since then, I know, okay, food is something I really enjoy. So I just put into my basket what I'd like to eat. And usually it works out. So it's not like that I'm paying 1,000 francs per month for food, but it's like, depending on the month, maybe it's like here 300, sometimes it's 400, 450, sometimes just 250, then again 400. But I don't look onto it anymore because I know, okay, on average, I like to eat this and that, and I just eat that and buy that, right?
Yeah, yeah. And also it impacts how you feel every single day because if you eat well, then
Yes.
you feel good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And even if you're like, you're happy to like, I mean, the thing is, I think food needs to also taste well. Like for me, just for me, it doesn't matter how other people think how it tastes, but for me, it needs to also taste well. And this is something I noticed for me, like during this extreme challenge, is like, yeah, food for me is like an important, like especially the taste is really important for me. Which before that, I already knew that too, but like in this extreme, I didn't see the contrast, right?
And what do you think are the most common money mistakes either you have made in the past or you think many people are making it?
Believing that you're going to die tomorrow. So the YOLO mentality, okay? Because I can tell you, if someone tells that in 10 years from now, if he did live the same and then he starts having kids, maybe he will probably regret some of the decisions he did financially. Okay. Because the person, like let's say Thomas in 10 years, 34 years old, is still Thomas. Still Thomas. Not the same Thomas like today, but it's the same Thomas in the end. And Thomas from 34 years doesn't need to be, oh man, why didn't I do this and that and this? Maybe I just had to put 10% away per month. That would have been enough. But I want to be the Thomas that can say in 10 years, okay, hey, Thomas, you were 24, you did a great job. Thank you very much. Now I have no money problems at all anymore. Thank you very much, right? So I always look at it in this way. Even if I would die tomorrow, doesn't matter because I do what I like. So this is the other combination, right? Which is basically the perfect combination. But I do believe that this YOLO mentality is really destructive for your future self because statistically, you will at least live to, let's say, 40, 50, or even older if you're living, for example, in Switzerland, right? And if you're a healthy person. So, and that's, I think it's one of the biggest mistakes which a lot of people will regret because because people want to like compare themselves to other people's, right? And then they see maybe other people's, they did it right, or not right or wrong is maybe the wrong word, but they did it differently. And then they see, oh, those people don't have any of the problems I have. But in the end, it's because the other person 10 years ago did maybe put away 10% of their salary per month, right? Just 10%, not even like zero, but like 10%. And that's like I think one of the biggest mistakes people will do, especially when they are younger, because a lot of people, yeah, you're young, you need to live your life, right? Yeah, man, you can live your life, but you can still put away 10%. No big deal.
Yeah, I testify that.
Yeah, it's no big deal. 10%, and 10% is a lot over 10 years.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. And what do you think in Switzerland, particularly?
Mhm.
What do you think is the one thing that most people spend money on, which they can either reduce or get rid of completely?
I think food is quite expensive in Switzerland, especially going to the restaurants. So going every time for lunch every day, it's cost 20, 30 francs or even more, right? And dinner especially. I do believe a lot of people go really a lot outside to eat. I think it's okay if you can, like, let's say, for me, example, I could go every day, 2 times or 3 times in a restaurant, and my budget wouldn't hurt at all. But the thing is, if I would do that, it won't be anything special anymore, which I don't like. I want to eat something special when I go to the restaurant, right? But I think this is one of the things you could reduce basically. And if you're reducing it, you probably, if you're going then the next time, maybe once a week instead of once every day, you would notice, hey, it's really a nice thing to go to the restaurant. You would like really appreciate it instead of just like, you just go for eat, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is one of the biggest expenses a lot of people have. And if they would reduce it, they would even get benefits of it because they would really appreciate it more.
Yeah, it comes back to your challenge. I think it's many things people take it for granted. They should go through certain process or
Yeah.
appreciate the things that, hmm
I mean, like kind of extreme, you could try to live like a really ascetic life. I think it's the English word, like that you basically say, okay, for a week or a month, I just do nothing that is involved with more, if possible, obviously. There are some barriers maybe for your job, but like, and then you will see like really what you really, really need. And it's kind of, you only notice it once you're missing it. It's always like that in every aspect of your life. You won't notice it unless you're missing it, because it's there, right? It's like you need to, like most of the people, even I'm not able to manage to notice a lot of those things unless I'm missing it, right? And if you know that about yourself, then you need to keep distance and try to do like a challenge or whatever, or try to, for example, um, sometimes I don't really like to work and I just would like to do something else, even if it's that what I like to do. But if I would then distance myself for a week and just don't do any work at all, I would notice, oh my God, I have such a good life. I have such a nice job. I can do whatever I like. Then I would notice, oh shit, I'll have that every day, every single damn day. And then, oh, you notice it because you're missing it, what you're actually doing. But during the time you're doing it or during the daily business, you just don't notice it, right? Because it's always here.
Yeah, yeah. Back to the other thing is just do not take it for granted. Appreciate what you
Yes,
have.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. My last
Regardless of
question.
what it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My last question is, what is your investment philosophy?
Investment philosophy. So basically, I'm really a long-term investor, regardless of what it is, my own businesses, stock market, commodities, whatever. Like for me, it's a long-term game. So it's not like I trade and do day trading or whatever. So I want to do long-term investments and I want to grow my wealth long-term, not like overnight, so that I'm basically doing this and then after a week you're already rich. No, it's like just long-term investing and basically only invest what you understand. Or if you really want to invest really in risky stuff, then just put that much money into it where you're fine with losing it completely. For example, Bitcoin, I put at max 1% of my net worth into Bitcoin, for example, or cryptos, right? So because, I mean, I'm not an expert on cryptos, right? But I'm fine if I lose 1% of my net worth through this asset class, I'm fine with it. It doesn't kill me, doesn't hurt me, doesn't change my life. It hurts, but doesn't change my life, right? So this is the kind of approach I have, and especially don't put all eggs into one basket. So I'm really a fan of diversification. So my portfolio, like my whole net worth, is basically there are three main parts. One is like the stock market part. 1/3 of my net worth is into the stock market invested through ETFs, like index funds, stocks, and whatsoever, right? 1/3 is into my own businesses invested at the moment, and 1/3 is basically cash on different bank accounts. But what I want to grow even more is like my own business part, and I want to leave like the stock market investments around about 1/3 of my net worth. Maybe in the future there will be some real estate, but for me it's like a long-term game, and I don't want to get rich over a night and only invest into what I understand.
Great, thank you. And I feel like I still have 100 other questions to ask you. You have talked about so many like valuable information, and it's very inspiring given that you're only 25 and you have realized your personal net worth to 700K from 100K in 2 years. I think you have done a great job. So where can the audience find you if they want to learn more about you, they want to consume your content? Tell us the platforms.
So for everyone that's German speaking, hopefully, so I have also a podcast which is called Finanzrudel Podcast, and which is also everywhere on iTunes, Spotify, and co. Also, I have obviously YouTube channel, website sparkoyote.de. So basically, if you Google me, Sparkoyote, you will find me everywhere. I think there's no place which I'm not. I'm even on TikTok. So I'm everywhere basically.
That's why you work like 70, 80 hours per week.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah, I will leave all the information in the show notes, and I hope the audience will find some interesting content from your platform. And yeah, thank you very much for coming here today, and bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Fast Track Podcast. Show me your support by liking this episode and sharing it with your friends. Join the Facebook group at Fast Track Podcast 1, or you can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and of course the homepage fasttrack.life. See you in the next episode.